meth into town. I'm going to show you how to make something really easy. I have talked many times how I've likely eaten more of these than real food. This is real food, but you know what I mean. I eat a lot of ramen noodles, so I'm always looking for ways to work them a little different. You know what I mean? A couple years ago, I worked in a hotel, and I was very poor, and so pretty much all I could afford on my hotel budget was ramen noodles, soup packets, and these are often what you get these at the food bank a lot too, and food bank food. So I'm gonna try to make something I call this is one of those recipes I learned from an ex-con friend of mine. It's called a hookup. It's kind of one of those things, like a hookup can be many things. It's just like I'm hooking you up, right? But essentially it's ramen noodles plus, right? So we're gonna take our ramen noodle, smash it up like we always do here. You get strong fingers working the kitchen in the meth end of town, people. You're always crushing on these noodles like they're your fucking manager or something. I don't know. This is how I feel about the job I had at the hotel. I crushed you. It's all good. No regrets. I love my life more than most people do. Okay, so we got that all crushed up. Why do you crush up your noodles all the time, Dirty? Well, let me tell you. I don't always crush them up, but I'm just going to put it simply. Some people like pickles, some people like cucumbers. That should kind of say it all. I have another little bit here from the recipe we made the other day, so I'm going to throw that in too, because I don't like to waste good ramen noodles. And we have half a seasoning packet from the recipe the other day, so I'm going to throw that in. But I'm going to add this to my collection. This is a nice vegetable chicken seasoning packet. Okay, so food bank snacks, cheesies are good. You know, like they crush up really fine. They're a good thickening agent, and they have cheese in them, salt. You know what I mean? Like they're tasty, but essentially they're a good for something like this. They're just a good give it body and a bit of cheesiness, right? We'll just dump that in. I'm just putting this in a little, you can put this in anything. You know, often this would be cooked in a chip bag, like I often cook things here, but I didn't want to do that today. I'm just using this lovely little container belonging to my roommate Amanda. So then I'm going to take my cup of soup. This, I believe, I'm going blind here, but I believe this is, I only buy two kinds of this. I think this is a spring vegetable. Yes, it is. So you throw in your spring vegetable soup mix. We have some fancy rice crackers that I got from the dollar store that we have used a couple times. So I'm going to throw a couple of those in for fun. Hooking it up. You know what I mean? Okay, now we're going to do an experiment. This is, like I'm always saying, you get weird stuff at the food bank sometimes. And this is definitely the weirdest thing I've ever gotten at the food bank. There's no English on it at all. It's a can of mixed Chinese or I don't know the language, and there's nothing saying what the language is, but it's Asian of some sort. Bean salad. This can, the top of this can, I've washed this can. I didn't peel the label because I want you all to see the label, but the top of this can is filthy. But I'm gonna crack it and see what's inside. And you know what? That don't look too bad. That's like just a little bean mixture. That's all right. So that's good. I'm gonna throw a couple of these in. It looks to be soybeans, kidney beans, and chickpeas. I'm not gonna use the whole can. I'm gonna throw the remainder in one of my ramen noodle bags. I'll show you a trick in a minute. There's a storage when you run out of baggies and you're like, what am I gonna do with my excess weird bean salad from the food bank? Well, let me tell you. You take that. You take this little tie from the ramen noodle packet. And you can just twist. Well, maybe that won't work so good. Anyway, whatever. You just keep it in the ramen noodle packet. Whatever. Faking it. I'm gonna chop up a dollar store pickle and throw that in too. I'm gonna use my can lid to chop up this pickle because it works. You can do a lot of damage with something like a can lid, man. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to add my boiling water. Let's see what we can hook up here. Now I would eat this, I seriously would eat something like this every day for lunch for about 1.5 years. And you know, it works. I don't know, it gave me energy to clean a dozen hotel rooms afterwards. That's a tough job, man. If you ever been a hotel housekeeper, I swear to God, that is the toughest job I've ever had. It's like lifting king-size beds all day, running up and down stairs. There's no elevator at the hotel I worked at, and you're just hustling. You got half an hour to spotlessly clean these rooms that get inspected, right? And if you mess them up, you get canned. I got canned, you know. But you find cool stuff in the rooms. You find a lot of gross stuff and a lot of cool stuff, but. I don't know. I'm glad I did it. I would never attempt to do it again. I couldn't handle it physically, I don't think. Anyhow, I'm mixing up this hookup here and this thing. And it just takes a couple minutes. I think the grossest thing I ever found in the hotel was this is when I was you learn things as you go on, and like anything. And it was my first week working there, and there's a lot of convention stuff, a lot of party stuff. Like just like we were kind of a cheap dive hotel, right? One step up from a motel, and people come and party all the time. And so one time I'm emptying a waste paper basket, and it's really heavy, and I'm like, oh man, this is really heavy. And there's like I thought it was full of newspaper because there's all this newspaper on top. So I pick it up, and you got this cart and a garbage bag on the side. Yeah. So I went to dump the contents of the basket in the bag, and it was full of vomit. And it ran all down my shirt and pants. It was real nasty. And that was the first half hour of my day. Luckily, I had another uniform. And yeah, like one time one day I was working. I couldn't wait to get off. I got off. I think it's the only daytime job I've had in a decade or more. And I couldn't wait to get off because I had plans that night. And anyway, I was always trying to be helpful, you know, because a lot of the people I work with, like, you collect a lot of garbage, you know. See, at the end of your day, the halls are kind of lined with these garbage bags from housekeepers, and I'd always try to be helpful and nice and say, hey, I'm going out, take garbage out, let me take garbage. So I, you know, picked up my buddy Roseanne's garbage bag, and I took it outside, I was hoisting it up in the garbage dumpster, and a syringe stabbed me right in the belly. A dirty hotel syringe. So I had to go to the hospital, of course, get tested for all kinds of crap, and luckily I was fine. It was probably just like some poor diabetic guy who, you know, didn't know how to dispose of his needle properly or whatever. But yeah, that kind of sucked. Minimum wage job for sure. No chance. I was told day one, no chance of moving up the ladder. No chance of a raise even. But I needed the job, and that's what I did for a while. But now I'm cooking in the meth end of town, and I think our hookup pretty much done. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be back in 2 seconds. I should have paused that. Okay, now I'm back. Doritos. You know, they're great. They're great for lots of things. I rarely eat Doritos as chips. You know what I mean? I rarely eat a bag of chips or a bag of Doritos of any sort. But I use them as ingredients daily, it seems. Or weekly, or often. So, what I'm going to do with this here, give it a little crunch and a little spice. I'm going to garnish the top with a little bit of Dorito powder. Get a spoon here. And I'm going to show you what it's all about. And really, like I said, it's just ramen noodles kind of kicked up. You can make this quick at your lousy job. And it'll be good. You know what? Can make this even better. I'm gonna throw another pickle on the top. Where'd my shiv go? Luckily, I got my shank. You always got to carry your shank with you, man. You never know what's gonna happen on the mean streets of Peterborough. Here in the meth end of town. So I carry my shank. Mainly for cutting pickles. Like I'm doing now. Alright. Well, Emmy Lou the cat here, I think she might be tracking something. Maybe tracking a kibble or hopefully nothing alive. Alright. So, I'm going to show you what a dirty pat wash hookup looks like. I ate this like every day for a year and a half, at least once a day. Usually this was all I ate in the day. And it usually wasn't even this complicated. It's usually just the soup and the ramen and maybe a bit of chip or pickle or something. But anyway, a hookup. This is a ramen noodle hookup. Done my style. Alright. Just kind of kicking up your ramen noodles. Yep. Tastes like the hotel. It's good though. You know,